You're into providing solutions, and I like that. It's a great way to think about this. So let's think about our audience then, Chris. Our audience is retired athletes, former athletes, business leaders that are stuck dealing with transitions, right? Dealing with transitions in their careers. Now, you alluded to this a little bit in the conversation earlier, but what specific strategies, solutions, or routines would you recommend to these guys to maintain a mental and physical well-being during the transition? You've been training your whole life, and I think some guys just want to say, fuck it, I'm done lifting, I'm done going to the gym, I'm done mentally, I just want to go sit and do something else. But yet you're like saying, no, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't have something specifically, but what I will say is stay within your routine. So a lot of people, whether that's financial, business related, relationship, a lot of people will fall off. They might cancel a training session. They might cancel a business meeting. They might cancel something with the spouse or with the family. And I'm big on staying in that routine. Like I pride myself on when times get tough, I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm still going to have great energy for my clients. I'm still going to do my podcast with great energy. I'm still going to be a great son. I'm big on just staying in your routine. I don't ever want anyone to be able to read my emotions. A lot of times when I'm in that mindset, things get better. I end up solving a problem, and I'm a Christian too. I'm not the holiest person. I say a couple cuss words every now and then, but I am a Christian, and I believe that God rewards that.
Yeah.
You stay within your routine, you stay in the grind, and you stay with that good energy, and you're not pouring negative energy on other people. So I'm big on staying in your routine when times get tough.
The power of faith has been a theme that's also been woven here through the lab. Athletes, business leaders, talk about how faith has been part of your journey through your D1 career, through business, and talk about that, Chris.
Yes. One thing about faith is I've never not gotten through an obstacle. I never went to drugs and became homeless or anything crazy like that. I've always learned to stay the course, and I'm big on praying. I'm big on talking to God every night, and that's definitely helped me. And one thing too, read some Bible verses, read some scriptures, look at some of the stories in the Bible and how people overcame things with their faith. And even small things like my TikTok account. I have faith pages, Bible pages, sermon pages that I follow that pop up on my For You page. So the information is constantly going through my head.
It's woven into your life. It's part of your identity, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's something that one of our guests talked about last week, where he struggled with his identity of not really publicly speaking about it until somebody called him out on it. And he's like, yeah, it actually is. And he felt like it gave him even more superhero powers because it enabled him to be even more true to himself.
Yeah. And I notice too, when people speak up on it, and if I'm not living my life, I feel bad. It stings a little bit. Hey, I need to get it together.
Yes.
I can have that effect on people too, with as far as talking fitness and solutions to your problems. And people don't like that. People don't like that with fitness. People don't like that with faith. People don't like that with finances. So,
yeah, I think that, but I think there's a way to. So listen, some people are going to like you and some people aren't. Just like some people are liking me and some people aren't, right? But you're real, I'm real, and I think that's what we bring to the table. And those that want to continue to tune in to both of us will, and those that won't, and I'm okay with that. It is what it is at the end of the day, right? So you talked about your podcast, Less Brunches and More Crunches, which is your brand. How did that help you create a sense of community and connection with the audience of yours?
Yeah,
inspired that.
Yeah, so I'm in the DC area, and DC is a big time brunch city. It's crazy. The amount of brunches and spots you can go, it is insane. So big time brunch city. And it was a common theme amongst my clients when hey, what are you doing this weekend? Don't eat too much. Don't exceed your calorie limit. Oh, I'm going to brunch this weekend. Oh God. And they get thrown off at brunch. And here we are on Monday. I'm chewing them out in the gym. Like, you got to have some discipline. So brunch is a common theme in the DC area. And it's crazy. So I went to Soul Cycle. This was in 2018. I went to Soul Cycle, and brunch was across the street from Soul Cycle. So I went to brunch after. I posted on my Instagram story the Soul Cycle. I went to brunch after with one of my friends. And then it was so random. I literally posted Less Brunches, More Crunches. And my DM was blowing up. And people are like, what is that? That sounds catchy. And so I put it on a shirt one day, wore it to the gym, and everyone was asking me about it. So that's how that developed.
Just like that.
Easy. Yeah. Easy.
You're a marketer by heart. You just have something about you that seems to.
I come up with catchy phrases all the time, man. It's crazy. It's actually a gift.
So talk about your podcast. How do you go about it? What's it been like growing it? And expand upon that. What have you learned from it? How have you used it to connect with your audience, etc.?
Yeah, so my podcast is super authentic. It's all fitness related.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about some of the latest trends in fitness, the latest viral videos, and I also educate and entertain on there, similar to yourself.
Yeah.
but it's all over the place. I'm talking about gaining weight, building muscle, quick fixes that are just dumb, and it's all over the place. But I started the podcast, and I was six and a half years into training. And no, I was 5.5 years into training. And I've dealt with people. I've lived in the DC area. I moved to LA right before the pandemic, not knowing the pandemic was going to happen. So I've dealt with all types of clients, all different ethnicities, different tax brackets. So I consider myself an experienced trainer. And so a lot of people, they see it, they think, but it's super direct, straight to the point. And it's brought me serious clients. A lot of the bullshit I used to deal with, and a lot of the can I cuss on here? I'm sorry.
Oh shit, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. A lot of the bullshit I used to deal with, I don't deal with anymore. And some of that, I'm going to credit my podcast because of that. Just because people want somebody that's direct. Who wants a nice trainer? Who wants a trainer that's, hey, it's okay. Before we started the podcast, a girl was texting me. She's like, I'm in New York. A lot of these trainers are just too soft. I can't deal with it. I need somebody who's going to be on my ass. I'm like, oh, perfect. Let's go. So
really the podcast has been your distribution vehicle for people to get to know Chris's personality and who Chris is. Would I be correct in that?
Absolutely. And it's added to my clothing sales. People would just want to support.
They want to buy into your brand, into your beliefs.
Exactly.
Talk about that move to Los Angeles. What precipitated the move? And then the pandemic hit. Let's talk about that experience.
Yes. I had been training for about almost 3 years. And I was 26 at the time. No kids. Still don't have any kids. No serious relationships. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to do something different. Worst case scenario, I can come back home. I went out there. Things were going really well. I started working with, it was random. I started working with Kevin Hart's brand. At the time, he started a supplement brand. I did a couple commercials for him. I even was on Zoom with Kevin Hart. I was in the process of starting a gym with some people. Everything was going well in Cali, and pandemic hit, and all those opportunities faded away because a lot of people don't know LA was the most shut down city in the US. Cities were opening back up. People were going to the gym, even if it was like at a lower capacity. LA wasn't opening. The gym was shut down for a full year. And me being new out there, I needed the gym to even post content, build my brand. So that was tough. So I ended up getting 2 or 3 clients that were consistent throughout the pandemic. But other than that, I was just doing DoorDash and working on my content. And it humbled me, man, because like I said, stuff was going pretty well out there. And so since the gyms were closed, I spent like $3,000 on some equipment. I put the equipment in my garage. I had like a shed. I would lock it at night, not only for my clients, but for myself. Like I saw my body changing. I'm losing muscle. I'm losing weight. I couldn't get in the gym and really, I would go to the park and do stuff, but it's not the same as when you're used to doing high intensity lifting, high intensity cardio. I got it for myself. And I went down there one day and all the stuff was gone. Somebody robbed me. They took all my stuff. And man, listen, Keith, that was the day I was going to quit training. I was like, you know what? I'm done with this fitness stuff. It's not sustainable. I can't do it. It's too inconsistent. I don't know when they're going to open the world back up. And I took some time to myself, went on a couple rants on social media and ended up feeling better about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep going because a moment like this is only going to add to my story. And I thank God every day that I didn't quit because it's working out for me. I would have never been doing this podcast. I would have never met you if I quit that day.
You know, isn't that true how that works?
Crazy. It is. I've had a lot of ups and downs with fitness, but it's only made me a better person and I'm sure there's more coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a number of setbacks and clearly a number of humbling moments, but yet you always keep going.
Oh yeah. You got to keep going. Even in college, man, it was tough. Basketball was tough. Me being a heavily recruited high school kid, I'm 6 feet tall. I was a combo guard, not a true point guard. My level was mid-major. I wasn't a high major guy. And I had so many coaches promising me like, hey, if you come play for me, I'll get you the high major. Don't commit there. I'll get you the high major. And I listened. And they didn't get me the high major. So I ended up making a last minute decision to go to Marshall University, which is mid-major D1. But since it was like a panic decision, I get there, they got guys in front of me, seniors in front of me, they're recruiting over me. And it even got to the point where I wasn't playing a lot my freshman year, but I just stayed in the gym, kept getting my shots up. If I didn't play in the game, I would stay in the gym after the game, roll the gun out and get my shots up. And it even got to the point where we got to the conference finals and I didn't play. We had some seniors foul out. I come in and hit the game winner after not playing and triple overtime. So imagine game time, that's a long time, but in real time, that's 2 hours sitting on the bench. I've always just been a super confident guy. And I knew my mindset was always different than everyone else. And it even got to a point where I ended up transferring to Mount St. Mary's, a small Division I here in Maryland. And my coach was up and down with playing time. And here I am at a small school. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm just super frustrated. One game I'll get 20 points. The next game I barely play. So he was messing with me a lot. And it got to the point where he made wild decisions. And he decided to bench me for the last 10 games of the season. He said the team wants to go in another direction. I had just scored 22 off the bench the week prior to that. And he decided to bench me. And my dad drove up to the game from Georgia that day. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And when I went to practice after that, I was like, you can fold and you can let these guys know that they affected you, or you can show up every day, be the best guy every day and make coach feel stupid about it. And I showed up every day. I murdered practice, played defense, rebound, score, talk trash, clapping in people's face. And he felt terrible, but he was so prideful. He didn't want to go back on his decision. And I dealt with a lot, man. I can go on all day.
But it's what made you. It's what made you who you are today.
Who I am, man. So anytime I reach an obstacle, I'm like, look, you got through this, add it to the list, and let's keep it going.
Add it to the list. And I like to use that analogy because when you reflect upon your life one day, your list is going to have a list of, just like mine and everybody else's that's listening to this show, you're going to have a list of challenges and you're going to have a list of opportunities and then you're going to have a list of accomplishments. And ideally, when you're done, your accomplishments are bigger than your opportunities and your challenges, right? That is the goal, isn't it? And I can see after hearing your story, Chris, over the last 40 minutes or so, I can see how faith, and not always and not necessarily faith, but your own belief system in yourself is what gets you up every single day to attack the day. You're really a business athlete.
Absolutely. And what's crazy, man, I try to speak life into my clients, like how we're speaking now. And I've even had girlfriends that were like, you're too positive. You can't be positive all the time. I'm like, what? How do you live like that? What am I supposed to be?
Chasing drama, right? It frustrates me when I find people chase drama. They're looking to fill their brain with something that's just mindless and dramatic. Do you know what I mean by that?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's like when you don't do that, you're the outcast. You're weird.
Yes.
And,
yes.
It's cool. If that means I'm reaching my goals and I'm headed to the direction I want to be in, I'll be weird. I'll be the bad guy. Cool. I'm with it. Call me whatever you want. Doesn't affect me. If you're not trying to unbig that back, don't watch the podcast. If you ain't trying to get rid of that belly, don't watch the podcast.